Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. If you ever get wealthy enough to buy a Ferrari, my little advice is don't buy one in that colour if you plan to sell it on. Same if it's orange or blue or purple. Those four colours are the hardest ones to sell a Ferrari, unless it's a really rare model. I would go for one of the various shades of red as you get more luck that way. Now, as you know, last week I reported that various articles that the mainstream media are starting to get worried the number of single men. Well, they're also getting worried about the number of single women, but they're more concerned about women naturally than they are about men. So looking around, I found this. As you can see, it's the United States Census Bureau. Now, this was Unmarried and Single America's Week, September the 18th to 24th, 2022. Now it goes, if you drop down, you get the men's marital statistics. Now, third wave feminism started in 1990. That's there. Now, if you go to Never Married, you'll see MGTOW kicked in, as I've reported, 2000, and then it started gaining traction around 2005. As you can see, there's a correlation. Now, married guys got divorced around about there. They found out about MGTOW in 2000. Word got around the married men circles, and the number of married men dropped, and the same number of not married men rose. Now, if you look down on the women's status, you see virtually the identical second wave feminism, MGTOW. The never married guys are not wanting to marry them. Women that getting divorced. You notice there's a correlation in the two. Was this page helpful? Yes. Thank you. Now, does that tell you much? Not really, but it's an interesting take considering the waves of feminism. Second wave, third wave, fourth wave. Now, the Washington Post took notice of this previous article as on the 8th of March 2023 by this lady, Abha Bhattacharya. Is that how you spell it? I don't know. As you can see, single women take an outside role in the workforce and the economy. 52% of women in America are unmarried, but a stubborn wage gap means there is less spending power and wealth. Now, this is most women never are single. Single women postponing marriage or foregoing it altogether. Single women are a growing economic force according to a larger share of growth in the job market, home ownership and college degrees. You can also say a larger share in the number of student debt, according to analysis of federal data. The majority of women in America record 50% are unmarried in 2021. And then it goes, while decades of norms, the sheer growth of single women is rippling through the economy and leaving a mark on the labour market, wealth and spending. Well, women spend more than guys, so that's understandable. The bad news is that the old wage gap between men and women has remained stuck over the past 15 years. Single women are filling a void in a very tight labour market, but they are still earning less than single men. Now you look at this graph. Now, fourth wave feminism kicked in 2012, which surprisingly is there. Majority of women in the United States who are single. Single, third wave feminism, fourth wave feminism. I don't need no man. And then it's climbing. The number of women who are married, divorced. Fourth wave feminism kicked in and it dropped down. What, like the other Graphs, does this mean anything? Not really, but you can see the correlation between that and the number of guys who are starting to get the MGTOW philosophy in their mind and not bothering to get married, and guys that were married, they're not getting remarried. Hence this. Now it says women have made strides in just about every facet in the economy in recent decades, except in the engineering and STEM fields, which has always been the domain of men, because women are just not up to it. The number of women attending and graduating from college has outpaced men for years. Yeah, but in what degrees, according to government figures? And then we get some examples. A lady called Alicia Barnes, she got divorced in 2009. Why? That would be there just before fourth wave feminism kicked in. She probably got indoctrinated with the feminism, and then she's a naval veteran in Oakland, Maine, blah blah blah. She's 48, she works as a digital strategist, and she's got a robust 401k, wherever a 401k is. Not being American, I don't know. And she's reached and bought a house. That's 276k, that's 240k pounds, which is about the average price of a house over here in Britain. Now if you drop down marital status by age group, you can, if you click on that, you get the various things that you can play around with that, but it doesn't tell you much except the various age groups. These are the most fertile years. These are riding a cock carousel. These are hitting the wall. These are post-wall. These are complaining on TikTok. These are complaining on TikTok. These saying they'll never be getting a relationship. And these are cat ladies. And another example, Rebecca Lundberg figured she'll be married by now, but at 31, post-wall. She says she's happily single and thriving. They always say that. She makes 90k a year in marketing. We're one of the first generations who are not really worried about getting married in our 20s and 30s and even 40s. Then why do you complain on TikTok about it? Because we have the means and opportunities to live our own lives. Yeah, whatever. And then, now this I found interesting. Net worth in 2019, couples, single men, single women. The majority of the wealth there is the family home, because property always never loses value if it's in a decent area. Single men don't need a 4-bedroom family home. Neither do single women. That's why there's a disparity. Economists, single women, neither divorced, separate, married, are more likely to be working than married women. Of course. If you're on your own, there's only one income coming in and you got to work. The lower wages, single women tend to have less wealth, and that's particularly true for their single mothers. If they didn't spend so much on having their nails and hair done, etc., then they would have wealth. Children can weigh heavily on single mothers' wealth. How did they become single mothers? They went with the bad boys. Chad's offspring and his brother Tyrone. And then it goes down, down. And that's the article. Now, over here in Britain, you should know that The Guardian is a leftish-leaning newspaper based in London. And it generally tends to take the woman's point of view, because it's a leftist-leaning paper. The only bit which of interest and relevance is this. Single person spends an average £1,851 on monthly household bills, and that's just bollocks. £1,851 a month is £426 a week. This could be in London and the southeast where the bulk of the population is, but up here in the northwest of Britain, nowhere near that amount. I don't spend that amount. I don't even have £426 a week coming in. my income. So you can take that with a big grain of salt. But just this last bit shows that it was aimed at women. Hello, my cat and I would like a mortgage. Now this, going back to America, The Hill, as you know, is an American political blog. Now this was done on the 22nd of February this year. Most young men are single, most young women are not. Now why are the politicians worrying about it? I would say they're worried about their tax-based revenue stream drying up because not many people are getting married or producing babies. More than 60% of young men are single, nearly twice the rate of unmatched young women. That means 60% of young men could either be MGTOWs or know about MGTOWs. Men in their 20s are more likely than women in their 20s to be romantically uninvolved, sexually dormant, friendless and lonely. Well, a guy has hobbies to get past loneliness. The guys have friends. Sexually dormant. The guys know that one wrong word and the woman could ruin his life. We're in a crisis of connection, says Niobe Way, a psychological professor. In the worst case scenario, young man's social disconnect can have tragic consequences. Now comes the fear part. Young men committed suicide. Young men are largely responsible for mass shootings. Scholars say a new era of gender parity has reshaped relationship and dynamics. Yeah, toxic feminism for a start, and MGTOW. Empowering young women in many cases, removing young men from the equation. In that case, why are so many women complaining on TikTok that they can't get a guy? Women don't need it to be in long-term relationships. They don't need to be married. Another load of bollocks. They'd rather go with a brunch of friends than have a horrible date. And then they go and complain on TikTok that they can't get a man. And then it goes on and on and on. Hey up. Mail's just come. Maybe it's a big check. Or not. Only half the single men are actually seeking relationships or even casual dates. That is the MGTOW effect. I should imagine. Young men are watching a lot of social media, probably this channel and Sandman and Better Bachelor and The Wall and Company of Kings and the other MGTOW channels, and they're learning about the true nature of women. And then it goes on and on and on. Anyway, as you can see, the politicians are worried, but not for the thing that you think of. They're more worried about the voters declining, the tax revenue declining, and the number of babies being born. And the Washington Post, Bezos's rag, is also jumping on the bandwagon, but mostly aimed at single women. So it looks like MGTOW is having a dramatic effect because the Status Bureau of America is starting to take notice in the decline of men getting married and men never getting married. The divorced and widows tend to bump along, so it's just they're not really bothered, but it's these two things which are causing the concern for this crowd. I think I'm on the 10-minute mark now, so I'll have to leave it at that. Right, people, you know the routine, like, dislike, etc. It's completely up to you, but I might try and find some more on this, but for now I think that we're done with this topic. Right, until next Monday, that's it. Bye-bye.